Hello everyone, welcome to Urbanscape Bangalore. And in this episode, we will look at the Monstera Adansonii or the Swiss cheese plant that is from the family Araceae and is native to some parts of the Americas. These holes or fenestrations in the leaves give the plant its name the Swiss cheese plant since they resemble the holes in a typical Swiss cheese. Now, these holes I've read serves a whole lot of purpose which I will explain in the later parts of the video. In this episode, we will look at some care tips, repotting and propagation of this very sought after indoor plant. This, like the other aroids, is a flowering plant that gives out very unattractive blooms quite rarely. Since they are found grown in tropical forest grounds, they grow with the help of these adventitious roots on trees and reach a very good height in search of sunlight. Now, the fenestrations are a result of cell death in certain leaf parts, and as the leaves grow bigger in size, the fenestration increases. The holes in the Adansonii differ from the Monstera deliciosa in that the deliciosa has distinct leaf tears in the margins as opposed to the distinct holes in the Adansonii plant primarily concentrated in the central leaf portion. Now, the fenestration could be due to different factors of adaptability. One theory is that these holes allow more water to reach the roots. Second reason is that these holes help with better air circulation around the leaves, and also it helps keep the leaf stable when it reaches heights in the forests. I'm sure most of you remember the good old days when we made holes in our cloth banners for some added stability. The same concept applies here as well. And another theory that is mooted is that some animals find these holes less appetizing and will leave the plant alone. And the final theory is that these holes help the plant reduce the leaf surface area, and lesser the surface area, lesser the energy the plant has to expend. Now, whatever the reason, these holes are what makes this plant stand out in the eager eyes of a houseplant enthusiast. Now let's look at some top tips and some plant characteristics on the way. Sunlight. As you would have already guessed by now, this plant is a low light plant and can be grown indoors in a very brightly lit corner of your home. So a south, west or an east unobstructed sunlight exposure would be ideal. Full sun will burn the plant. Lack of sunlight can reduce the production of these holes. More the sunlight, more the fenestrations. Watering. One must make sure that periods of dryness between watering should be maintained. So water only when you see the soil is bone dry. This is especially true during winters when the plant's growth reduces. Keeping the soil dry before the next watering, I've noticed, has helped this plant gain more vigor in its growth, especially during the summer months. Consistent soil moisture can encourage pest growth and can stress out the plant. Fertilizing. Like all aroids, the plant likes organic matter, but when you're growing this indoors, fertilize the plant with seaweed solution. Add 2 or 3 drops of this liquid in a liter of water and add it once a month during the summer months. Seaweed has enough nitrogen in it for better foliar growth. Outdoor monsteras can be fertilized with compost. Soil composition and repotting. So for the repotting, take a container that is 2 or 3 inches bigger than the older pot, add a broken tile piece to cover the hole, and for the potting mix I'm using 30% compost, 40% sand and 30% coco peat or garden soil if you have. Remove the plant from the existing container and add it inside and backfill. Support. Now this is very important for most monsteras. A support in the form of this moss stick will do. Insert the moss stick into the pot and you can tie the stalk onto the pole with the help of this twine thread. Since a moss pole replicates the natural surroundings the plant is generally found in the wild, it will grow bigger and better more quickly. More than letting this trail down, making it climb onto a support will help it grow better. Humidity. Since they grow in tropical zones, you must provide it with ample humidity. You can simply spray their leaves with water during hot, dry summers. Pests and diseases. This can be affected by mealybugs and spider mites especially, and a spider mite infestation can be identified by the small discoloration on the leaves, and the leaves will look a little stressed out. So you can use neem oil pesticide to control these pests. So add 1 drop of neem oil along with a drop of soap solution in a 400 milliliter spray bottle like this, and spray the whole plant from head to toe, including the soil and the moss bowl where these bugs generally hide. Make sure you spray the leaf undersides where you find most of these horrendous pests. You must be consistent with this application. Spray this at least thrice a week on alternate days till you see the plant has regained its health. Pruning. You can prune the plant if you see that the plant isn't doing well. Pruning also allows air to circulate, thereby reducing the chance of pest infestation and other diseases. Pruning dry and old leaves will only help the plant give out newer ones. Air circulation. As you can already see that this plant has these fenestrations to help it with air circulation. So you need to open your windows and let fresh air in. Avoid keeping this in an AC room. Cold tolerance. This plant is not cold tolerant and will not do well in snowy regions of the world. Leaf curling. Leaf curling is common in monsteras and they are generally due to stress, and the stress could be due to anything ranging from pests to underwatering to low humidity. And in my case, it's mostly the pests that have led to this leaf curling. You can slowly unfurl this and treat it with neem oil pesticide and hope for the best. Plant toxicity. This plant, like your other aroids, is toxic to humans and pests and is known to cause discomfort but are not known to be fatal, unless otherwise someone decides to bite more than they can chew. Propagation. Now this is an easy plant to propagate, and you can take a cutting with at least one node with these adventitious roots intact. You can take cuttings without leaves, or you can just take a leaf along with the petiole, and you can add all of this into a well-draining mix of 40% sand, 30% compost and 30% coco peat. Water the cuttings and keep it under part sunlight conditions in an east direction preferably, and water every day. I will show you the updates on these cuttings as an add-on in another video. Apart from soil propagation, you can easily propagate this in water as well. So I must tell you here that when I got this plant from a nearby nursery, it was infested with spider mites and looked very straggly, but a little bit of patience, neem oil pesticide and watering only when the soil dries has helped me revive this plant and make it look a little better than how it looked when I first got it. So people, the Adansonii or the Adansonii is a must-have plant if you are a houseplant enthusiast. And these mesmerizing fenestrations are what makes this plant stand out. And stand out it does. So with this, we have come to the end of yet another episode of Urbanscape Bangalore, and I hope you enjoyed this particular episode. Additionally, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. The links are given below. Thank you for watching Urbanscape Bangalore, and until we meet again, a very warm goodbye. And don't forget, to grow slow is to grow